So all right, I guess we'll get started.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I'm Nick,
I'm Raina.
and we're going to teach you about making Earth-friendly eco-hackathons today.
Yeah.
So how many of you guys have run a hackathon before? Good. Now keep your hands up if you think you've run an eco-friendly hackathon before. Oh.
Woo! All right, so we got one volunteer. What made your hackathon eco-friendly?
Reusable water bottles and solar power.
Solar power. You have solar power?
Solar power.
Yo, can you share some? Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So he answered our first point, right? And that's, using reusable water bottles.
Right. It's a great swag item. A lot of hackathons that have water bottles, like HAkron, they had a really nice aluminum bottle, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and I use it every day. It's right there in my backpack.
Yeah, no, it's right
great.
there. Yeah, it's
All right,
a good
you know
one.
who doesn't use reusable water bottles?
Not this.
Not Hackcon.
And then, has anyone had issues finding a recycling bin? Yes.
Yeah,
So,
go for it.
another easy way to make your hackathon eco-friendly is just having recycling bins. And then, to deal with people that don't know how to recycle, or maybe they can't find their recycling bin, a lot of good methods to solving that issue is taking your trash can and your recycling bins and going around to hackers and being how can we help you? Can we remove trash or recyclables for you?
I know, one of my biggest pet peeves is I'll see someone walk over with their water bottle to a trash can, and there's a recycling bin right next to it, and they'll throw it in the trash can. I'm like, what are you doing? It's right there. Or you guys all know the hackers, right? You'll see them sitting, they've got piles and piles of red Solo cups
ready
and
to
Red
go
Bull
all
cans
night.
and water bottles and all this Gatorade and stuff. And you could just help them out if you just take a recycling bag over there and just throw it in there for them, that's, I know it's a lot of work on you organizers, but it's seriously just a small little step that we can take, and it makes the world of difference in terms of what your trash output's
Right.
gonna be.
And then to plug another hackathon, I saw this at Big Red Hacks, and I was like, I'm taking this idea home with me. This is a good plan. So we're gonna open this for discussion. What do you guys think would be other good methods of making your hackathon eco-friendly? Anybody?
When you're serving food, you can offer paper plates and compostable utensils instead of regular plastic and stuff.
Right, so you can offer compostable utensils.
Yeah, and to that point too, as organizers, we have metal utensils that we can reuse and rewash and that kind of thing. So that's also really good to have. Anyone else? Any other suggestions?
Yeah,
Donating leftover food.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. There's a lot of food shelters in pretty much every area that you can donate your leftover food to. And it's just a great way to keep it going forward in the community.
Yeah. Anyone over here? I'm sorry, I'm kind of ignoring you guys. No?
No?
Who here has oh, yeah.
I'm just curious what other people have done for food plates, because I feel like that's our biggest area of waste nowadays, food and utensils.
Right,
Is there
so-
a better solution besides just paper plates?
So where are you finding compostable plates and utensils?
We personally haven't, but
Oh,
in the future
okay.
I want to do it. But I know I've seen surrounding restaurants around campus that have plastic forks that are compostable, so you can just put those in organics.
Right.
Paper plates, as long as your food's not greasy, you can also, if it's not overly greasy, you can put that in the compost as well. It's compostable and break down. So you can do stuff like that. You can probably also find similar compostable plastic plates might work as well if you can find them.
Right, so
Yeah,
just a good
sticking
little
away
legwork,
from,
yeah.
sticking away from styrofoam, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's something that's really not
It's really
recyclable
hard to
anywhere
recycle.
because it's really expensive.
Single-use plastics overall.
Right.
And then, another thing too is if you have, if your venue has sinks around or there's a kitchen nearby, putting the trash cans by the sink will help people, or the recycling bins by the sink, I'm sorry, will help people wash off their plates and whatever before they recycle it, right? Because you can't throw a plate full of mac and cheese into the recycling bin, that doesn't work.
And then there's the whole teaching aspect of a hackathon. Not everybody knows that you can actually recycle or compost the paper plates that they use for food. So just being able to tell people that knowledge and spit it on them, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Does anyone? Yeah.
Having a lot of signs would also help, because one big issue that a lot of people don't do, organics bins or recycling bins, is contamination. People putting things in the wrong place. So I've seen there's a cafeteria type place near campus. They have just a whole bunch of signs with pictures of like what can and can't go in the bins.
Right.
And I think that helps also guide people as to what they can put in there.
Right, so just like putting the information out there and like making it really like obvious and easy for people to recycle and like do the eco-friendly thing.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any other suggestions on things that they've done or things that they want to see done?
We got it.
So BU has a new initiative to like become more of an eco-friendly. So we partner with them for our event to minimize our waste by
That's awesome.
reducing the amount of snacks with wrap in packaging.
Oh, wow.
So all of our snacks are going to be more of a buffet style, like and more fruit because you can obviously compost it in
Yeah.
order to minimize the waste that's going into the garden.
Yeah, and like who doesn't like fruit in the morning at a hackathon, right?
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants a cold bagel, really.
I think we've all been there when we've had like way too much junk food at a hackathon and you're like, I'm actually dying and tired, so I just want a banana.
Yeah.
So that's a really good suggestion.
Anyone else? There's
Question. So
yeah, go for it.
you have a buffet style kind of stack. So what do you guys like put in there?
I think it was more like, so normally last year we had like, you know, those piles of like Doritos bags and like the mini chocolates. Now we're trying to stray away from that and having other snacks like in, yeah, and not only snacks, it's also like drinks, like for example Gatorade, instead of getting them in individual bottles, you have
Right.
a big like container of Gatorade so you can fill them with.
Right, and I'm sure that's cheaper too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes eco-friendly option is like much cheaper.
Yeah. Imagine buying like a giant family-sized bag of Doritos and pouring that in a big bowl as opposed to handing out little packets.
Yeah, I think it was like trays that they were.
Yeah. It's a really good idea.
And then if we think about it here at Hackcon as a small example, did you see like that big stack of water bottles, like the
Yeah.
big mountain? Think of how they could cut the cost on that by having like just a bunch of like big water jugs.
Yeah. Definitely.
So like if you did the water thing, if you did so if your school has like this like water fountains that have like the water bottle things,
Right.
you would need like big water jugs.
Well, it's probably still good to have if the water fountains are like kind of far away.
If they're closed.
But if they're close,
If they're
I would
close,
say go
definitely
for it.
like
Yeah.
have people go to those water fountains, like talk about it like at the beginning of your event, like, hey, we have like all these water fountains, like if you have trouble finding one, like we'll help you. But,
Cool water is just disgusting. Like, it's like you're drinking broth.
you know,
Well, you can always get Brita filters, right?
like we've seen people with like Brita filters that like actually like will fill up the water at the water fountains and then like leave them out on tables.
Okay.
That's a good.
So that's one option. You know, rusty water is not good for anyone.
Yeah, so that's a good problem to bring up. Does anyone have like any issues that they're like facing at their hackathon that they don't know how to face?
What if your hackathon has like nearly 2,000 people and you don't know how to scale these options?
You don't know how to scale these options. Anyone have suggestions for that? Scaling recyclable, eco-friendly options.
So what things in particular are you having trouble scaling?
Like reusable water bottles are a great idea, but we can't like fill up. We can't get these reusable water bottles and then fill them up for our hackers and then have them wait in a line to
Right.
fill them up again because that creates a fire hazard.
Yeah. Like refilling the Gatorade and refilling the water station. I'm not saying that's not good. I'm just saying like over a period of time and overnight, we can't keep refilling.
Right, yeah. It's a lot of maintenance.
Curious, like, what do you guys, like, if you have problems with scale for that, like, what do you guys do for things like coffee? Because I feel like that could be probably similar.
Coffee was actually, well, we had coffees, but we had also like coffee machine thingies. but they
Okay.
weren't actually that popular.
Oh wow, I've never. Whoa.
We had peaks as well.
Yeah, so we kind of ordered out from other restaurants to help us out with that type of situation. So we can personally do it, is what we're saying.
Well, I mean, like, you got to distribute it at some point, right? So if you have refillable containers, I imagine you just had like jugs of coffee somewhere, right? So there's gonna be that bottleneck anywhere, but just have refill. I understand like having to refill like reusable containers or whatnot. That is kind of a challenge. But I don't think like if you're making Gatorade, that's super fast. You just put water in like whatever controller you have and stir in the Gatorade. It's not like a huge cost.
Right.
A good way to cut down on lines actually is to have several smaller containers of drinks like around the venue scattered around, so people will go scatter to each one of those instead of one centralized location.
And like, go ahead.
So like if you're having seating in like the giant area, I'm guessing probably have an amazing room there. And probably depending on the population density that you think you're going to have people there, put something there and expect it to be servicing maybe like 50 people. And so for every 50 people, you would have something around that. So that might help with the lines as well. But you won't have that problem of refilling multiple different things if you don't do that.
Man, this is great. All of you guys are talking.
Yeah.
We were worried like no one was gonna talk, so I had a list of really bad environment jokes that I was gonna say.
We can still say them.
Do you guys still want to hear some jokes?
All right, here
Okay,
we
they're
go.
really bad. All right. What's the difference between weather and climate? You can't weather a tree, but you can climb it. How does a bee brush its hair? With a honeycomb. Boo. Okay.
All right, and then to bring back to your point, we're done. To bring back to that point, like we understand like 2,000 people is like a huge ordeal to take upon like making that eco-friendly, and like we can't be perfect. Like plastic's gonna end up in the trash, like things are gonna happen. Like with like having like refillable water stations, like you can still try to do that and like maybe just cut down your plastic water bottle usage. Like just trying like small things or just small changes, like especially on that big scale, we know like it's not gonna be perfect.
Maybe have both.
Yeah.
Maybe there's designated areas where they can grab it initially, so like have something to hold over as they're running out. Then you have that like layered aspect time-wise of like, oh, I finished this one water bottle or 2 water bottles I had. I'll go fill this one because I don't need to do more water bottles. But you have that time delay of different people like consuming things at different rates.
So I had a personal experience where I was, I'm kind of passionate about the environment and I want to run a hackathon that is eco-friendly, but I maybe can't get all of my organizing team on board, right? There's, a couple bad actors here and there, a couple people standing up against that who think there's cheaper options or those options are too much work. So, I have the answer to this, but I want to ask you guys, like, how would you go about solving that situation if you had to pitch this eco-friendly hackathon idea to your fellow organizers?
Well, they did beforehand. Some of the options are
Right.
Some of the options are
options are cheaper.
Yeah. Anyone else?
How do you pitch that? How do you sell like being earth friendly to your teammates that might hate the world?
You get really aggressive and tell them the Earth is dying. And then
All right. You don't want to like depress people. You don't want to come and be like, the earth is dying. The climate sucks. You gotta be nice about it. Be like, we can make the world a little bit better. But yeah, you can be aggressive. Like, yeah.
Show sad animal pictures to go along with your idea.
All right. We have a clear method. So sad animals.
I was just gonna say, I think appealing to the hacker experience and caring for the environment. We're all here right now because we care. So, our hackers are looking for this. It's an easy way to.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's a
Right.
good selling point to your,
Exactly.
your hackers.
There's actually one that's unconventional, but really worked on me to really convince me to reduce my own plastic use. Take them to your local dump. Once they see that place,
Yeah.
they're so depressed and so sad.
So here, everyone get in the car. You're not gonna be able to breathe for a bit, but it's gonna be fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Field trip.
Yeah.
We got one over here.
We've had problems similar to this on our team, and sort of in the opposite direction of all these suggestions. Like with this, sometimes you don't need to convince the person to like the environment or anything. Like you can just pitch it as a PR thing. Like it just looks good.
Exactly.
To the environment. So, that's obviously not as wholesome of a strategy, but it gets people on board, and later, you can worry about the ideological side of it.
Right.
It's really easy to pitch as it makes the event look good, and sometimes it is cheaper and easier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can't go with the ethical point, but just the business aspect is it still works. Yeah.
Cool.
Any other recommendations?
Oh, we got one.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Also sort of from a business aspect, does anyone here have any ideas or know about sponsors who have these environmental initiatives and would sponsor an event to for that support, for that reason?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Do you? Oh.
I think most schools have an office of sustainability or some sort of that. So for our school, if your event or project has anything dealing with sustainability, they'll give you a grant for the project. So for us, it's $25,000.
Wow.
Just making it eco-friendly or offering
25,000?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay, you're sharing some of that solar panel love and money.
This is DCR. So basically, if we offer the best sustainability
Right.
price, then our hackathon qualifies for that grant.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good idea. So.
And then going back with the business aspect, you can pitch to your university that may not have that grant and be like, they're doing it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Other universities, they just copy other universities. You know?
So
That's all they do.
You just got to find a university doing the thing that you want and point it out to them.
What school do you go to again? UCR.
What
is UCR?
University of California, Riverside.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, fine.
Cool. So we are almost out of time because the keynote ran longer, but I just had a couple more. One thing that none of us really touched on is that you can make eco-friendly choices in travel, right? Instead of having everyone drive separate to your hackathon, maybe sharing a bus, setting up buses, you know, it's a little more expensive, and that might be more of a tough sell, but I do think if you can urge people to use public transit or get a bus going between schools, like that's gonna really help out a ton.
Yeah. So I know there's someone from Youngstown in Ohio that like actually has like a travel designated person that like sets up all the carpools. So if there's someone interested in that like on your team of like organizers, you can definitely like give them that role.
Yeah.
So I guess we can go ahead.
Since hackers like to love swag, if they come in like a water bottle, just give them like a special sticker or something like that.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like if they bring their own reusable water bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That's a good idea, yeah. Okay, so we'll just take some questions real quick if you guys have any.
Yeah.
Not a question, but a suggestion. It's a bit more of an indirect way of being more eco-friendly, but if you focus on what kind of food you're offering, like if you're offering meat, like chicken, beef, and stuff like that, that actually has a worse ecological footprint than if you do something more vegetarian-based. So if you offer more like bigger vegetarian options, you actually reduce your footprint, so that's something you could also consider.
There's something also cool that Uncommon Hacks did this year, where they let all the vegetarian and vegan option people like go first, and I was like, that's right, heck yeah. But any other questions or suggestions, comments? All right.
Nothing?
So I guess.
So back to more jokes.
No.
You gotta finish it out.
Yeah.
All right.
One more joke.
Last joke. Here we go.
It's gonna be good. It's all the anticipation building it up.
What kind of plant grows in your hand? A palm tree. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
That was awful.
That was the worst joke.